Welcome to the Positive Side Podcast. Once again, your host, Jeremy Todd. Thank you for tuning in. It means more than you know. Just a quick update. I've got a ton of new listeners, and I just want to kind of give you a quick overview of what the Positive Side is all about. What we try to do here at the Positive Side is talk about the positive side of life, health, family, business. I'm going to do some podcasts coming up here in the next few weeks. They're going to be a little bit more geared towards business. I'm going to interview a couple business owners. I've got Sam Crowley coming up here in a couple weeks on the podcast. I've got Anthony Chevrolet that owns a CrossFit gym in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So we're going to check those guys out and see what they do. And obviously I'm always looking for someone else, hopefully local too, which makes it always nice, supports the local economy here. But really that's just the general idea is, it's a place that you can come and get some positive energy, get some positive vibes. And it's also a journey about what I'm going through too. Living here in North Carolina, I've been broke going back in the day. Broke, had no money, filed BK. Went through the car business, got back up on my feet, did that for 10, 12, 13 years, got burnt out, ready for a change, decided to move to North Carolina, start over, and kind of what my thoughts are and feelings are going through the day. So that's a quick overview of the positive side. Got a review I want to read. This is a good buddy of mine named Rick Kruger. He's one of the top Honda salesmen in Fort Wayne. And he puts on here, the positive side is downright the best, down to earth, in your face, straight to the point. Good listen when you need a little pick-me-up, and keep your head on straight. Can't thank Rick enough for putting that on there. It's something, like I said, no one has to put any 5-star ratings on there. It makes a big difference to me. It makes you feel good and makes you feel like you're going down the right path, and I'm trying to help people out. So thank you, Rick, for doing that. If you're looking for a Honda, there's no question. Check out Honda. Actually, it's Honda Rick. Check that out on YouTube as well. He's got an awesome YouTube channel. So if you own a Honda, I would just subscribe to this YouTube channel just in general, for all the knowledge that he puts on there about Hondas. But just an all-around good dude, and I appreciate that. But it kind of leads right into what I want to talk about today. And, when you have these things that help make sure that you're on a good path. And what I mean by that is and I wanted to put this out there, and I'm sure everyone goes through this. If you don't, you are some kind of freak of nature. But let's talk about self-doubt. And sometimes with self-doubt, it's not, for me, it's not something that overtakes me. But man, it does wear on me. I always think, am I going down the right path? Do people give a crap about my podcast? Am I really stepping out of the range? And when you do that, it's interesting. Whenever you do that and you start going through a couple of days where you're thinking like that, all of a sudden you get a couple more haters coming out. It's almost like they can smell blood in the water. You got people hating on you a little bit more on whether, and I always say the number one hater is always family and closest friends, but that's okay. So as you go through this negative self-talk, for me, it ends up having more and more people come out, and then I have to just snap out of that. One of the other things I always do is I try and compare myself to other people doing the same thing that I'm doing. And you may do that the same way at your job. So let's just use car salesman, because I use that all the time, because that's the business I know. Let's just say you're a salesperson doing 15, 20 cars a month, which is fantastic, but you self-doubt yourself because maybe there's someone else at the dealership doing 25 or 30 every single month. Self-doubt is one of the biggest things that just absolutely cripples you, and it's there for that reason, to make you stop searching for those dreams and quit working hard. But believe me, the more you work on these things, the more you continue to identify what that is, first of all. And that's one of the biggest things. If you can identify the self-talk, a lot of times that's the hardest part, because you'll just go through it. You'll just say, well, I'm not as good as this guy is, or not good as this girl is. Boy, they're way smarter than I am. They're way better at sales than I am. I'm never going to be that good. But you continue to do that, and if you don't get to a point where you stop that and actually acknowledging what that is, that negative self-talk, you're going to continue to go down on that path, and then things are going to eventually fall and collapse, and you're going to be back to where you started from day one. But that isn't going to happen with me, folks. I'm going to continue to go down this path. I get that self-talk more than, I always think I have it more than anybody else, and I'm sure you do the same way, that you're always beating yourself up and giving you that negative self-talk. Am I in the right career? Am I doing the right thing? Should I do this? Should I do that? Why am I doing this? What's everybody going to think? I'm here to tell you it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And I'm also here to tell you that you're going to get the negative self-talk, but you have to identify that and blow through that and continue to work harder for your goals. Again, my podcast is, for me, I think, it's that double-edged sword. I think it's doing fantastic, but I'm also not getting millions of downloads. I think I should be right at the end of the rainbow already and be getting millions of downloads. I look at these other guys and try and compare myself to the best of the best of the best. What do they do that makes their podcast special? Why have they got this lucky and I'm still I'm still right around, again, I've got almost 5,000 downloads, which is just huge for me. I would have never thought 6 months ago I'd have been at 5,000 downloads. Heck, 6 months ago I didn't know how to have a podcast, but let's just say 3 months ago, never thought in a million years I'd be at that many. I thought it would take me years to get that many downloads, but we're getting some traction, and those are the things you got to look at. You have to, I mentioned in a previous podcast, if you haven't heard this one, celebrate the small wins. You have to celebrate the small wins to enjoy the big wins, but at the same time, those small wins get you out of this negative rut to where you're beating yourself up all the time. I listen to one of my favorite podcasts, obviously Sam Crowley. Every day is Saturday. He gets millions of downloads per year. So I compare myself to him. I compare myself to Gary Vee. If you haven't heard of Gary Vee, check him out. But, we're just different. And I think that's what makes me keep that little bit of faith and a little bit of hope alive, that my podcast isn't the same as Sam Crowley's, or not the same as Gary Vee's or Tony Robbins. We all have our different little take and our little different niche. And I think my niche is just going to be realism. And, there's no filters with everything I go through. It's funny, I get a lot of emails saying, offer me advice, which I love, because you know what? I'm not the best. I need more advice. I need to know when I'm doing good and when I'm doing bad, because I want to get better. I want to be at that point where 3 million downloads are coming, or 5 million downloads, whatever the case is. Why can't I be at the top of iTunes? Why can't I be there? One of the biggest reasons I can't is that negative self-talk. So as you go through your day, it's the beginning of the month. I thought about doing a podcast today about the month starting over, which is, I love new months, first of the month, because it always gives you a chance to reflect from the past month and start over. Whether you had a good month or bad month, you can start over. But today I want you to reflect on where you've been. Well, let's just use last month. And do not negative self-talk. If you had a bad month in sales and family and business, whatever the case is, that month is over. Start over today. Stop the negative self-talk, and let's turn that into a positive talk and think about all the good things you've done and all the strides you've made, all the goals you're going to reach this year. If you've had 2 months in a row, let's stop that. Let's stop it and continue to get better. This is a full year, and one of my biggest things that I talk about, how 1 week turns into a month turns into 6 months, 6 months turns into a year, and you're in the exact same spot. And a lot of that has to do with that negative self-talk. But today is a new day, new month. I don't care what the first quarter of your year has done, what you've done, if you haven't done anything, or even if you've hit the moon with your goals. It's an opportunity to reflect, continue to get better, work harder, and get your life and your business to the next level. That's what I'm going to do. That's what gets me through this negative self-talk, is to celebrate the small wins, understand where I'm going. Nothing's going to stop me. I encourage everyone to get on jeremytodd.com. One thing I need help on is my Monday morning motivational videos. They're rough and raw. I need to make them a little bit better. So that's negative self-talk for me again, talking to myself about how, the videos aren't that good. They need more content, or whatever the case is. But there's always one thing you're going to find about everything that you do that you're going to beat yourself up about it. And I'm here to tell you, just stop it. Because when you want to do that, you can sell yourself you're the easiest sell you have. You can sell yourself on all the negative things that you go through. If you have a bad attitude, you can sell yourself on the bad attitude. You can sell yourself on why things are terrible in your life. Today's the day we stop. It's a new day. It's a new month, new week. We can look forward to going on this next month and have the best month we've ever had, but we have to stop that negative self-talk. Check out the website, jeremytodd.com. Shoot me that 5-star rating too. That helps stop me, my negative self-talk. If you can do that on the iTunes, it'd be awesome. Facebook page, that's growing leaps and bounds. I've had another 10, 15 people this week that have actually liked the page. And they're personal friends of mine, which really makes a big difference. That, you're getting across to a different, that I talked about some of your biggest haters are your friends and family. But it's also some of your biggest help is your friends and family when they get on there and start liking your page and sharing your videos and liking your posts. So do me a favor, get on there, give me that 5-star rating on Facebook, on iTunes, whatever the case is. Get signed up for that Monday morning motivational video. I send out letters from time to time on that as well, at least once a week, about trying to a little bit of positive talk there as well to help get rid of that negative self-talk. So do that for me. Continue to like the podcast, share it, tell your friends and family about it. I love that you tuned in. Let's make this the best month, the best week ever. This is the positive side. What do you think, big one?